Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P with Slap Pappy Gorilla. What? Gervonta Tank Davis is now 29-0 with 27 KOs. He has just defeated Ryan Garcia. Listen, Gervonta Tank Davis, hey, he was a part of the biggest fight, I guess you'll say, since Mayweather-Pacquiao. The pay-per-view numbers and the live gate numbers have broken records, especially for our day and time. This fight was, and I mean, hey, it also lived up to the hype. Even though Ryan Garcia is not the caliber of a Gervonta Tank Davis, it still was a good fight. The build-up was done well. Promotion was done well. And I mean, hey, the fight was a knockout in the 7th round via vicious body shot given by Tank to Ryan Garcia. Hey, you know, it made for a very good ending to a very good promotion and a very good build-up. So, I mean, a lot of people were saying, hey, whoever wins this fight will be the new face of the sport of boxing. Hey, and that's Gervonta Tank Davis. I made a video the other day, and the title was "It's Ironic," and then I put Gervonta Tank Davis is the new the face of the sport of boxing. And man, I got some people that, you know, tried to wring my neck, bro. And I'm telling you, listen, some people don't understand what the sport of boxing is, and that the sport of boxing takes on different forms in its different phases in time. I mean, and what is the sport of boxing right now, you know? And then what do you consider to be the face of the sport of boxing? I mean, the sport is not what you or me dictate it to be, you know? I mean, I don't have any power to dictate what the sport is. I mean, as well as anybody else. But at the same time, you know, knowing, you know, what the sport is, first you have to know, you know. The sport of boxing is a sport that is prize fighting, you know. These boxers get hit in the face for money, for a prize. Now, the sanctioning bodies sanction and govern the sport, supposedly. That's what they're set up to do. But everybody knows that these sanctioning bodies have a certain level of corruption and politics, you know. And with that being said, you know, hey, it is what it is. The sanctioning bodies have become very money hungry, just like the rest of the sport. Everybody has their hands out and wants to get paid. So now what happens is, yeah, you have sanctioning bodies that pay fees, you know, for every, like if you hold a belt, every time you fight with that particular belt, which is representing that sanctioning body, you pay a certain amount, a certain percentage of your purse goes to that sanction body. Now, I know people, you know, people, if you're not a casual fan, you probably already know that. Some casuals even know that. But, you know, so this is the thing. These sanctioning bodies have gotten to the point where, hey, they have to pay certain people for certain things. So in order to stay paid, they have to get paid more money. So now what ends up happening is they use their leverage against the boxers. The boxers use the leverage of the sanctioning bodies or the belts that represent the sanctioning bodies for leverage in negotiations. So everybody's trying to use their leverage. So now, when a person figures out where their place is in the sport, or their name is bigger than the actual sport or the belts that represent the sanctioning bodies, they realize they no longer need the belts in order to negotiate at the table to fight. So that's when you have scenarios of people who become the actual face of the sport of boxing. The person who's the face of the sport basically carries the sport on their shoulders from whatever phase it is to the next phase, or from whatever level it is to the next level. I mean, that's when you get people like Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., names like Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy, Floyd Mayweather, and then Canelo Alvarez. So now we're coming to a point where Canelo Alvarez has been the face for a while, the face of the sport. His time is coming to a close. He's not doing numbers like what Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia just did. And, you know, also he's getting a little long in the tooth. His reign is about to come to a close, so he's going to have to pass the torch. And it's looking like to me that Gervonta Tank Davis is as good a person as any. And man, look, the young man been doing numbers on his own, and he just did numbers with another young man whose name basically, you know, didn't need anything from the sanctioning body. So now together they have done something that's larger than the actual sport or the sanctioning body. And how you know that happens is when you draw a crowd the way that they drew. You know, you have people, all of the who's want to be at a boxing match for some reason. It's like coming to the Super Bowl. You know, the who's who. They got the red carpet rolled out for the who's who. Different actors, sports figures, other fight figures, you know, you name it. Different people that are famous, rappers. Everybody wants to be at an event like the type of event that happened on last weekend. And they showed up in droves. Listen, the sport of boxing is only as fragile as its fan base. And the fan base in this day and time, because we have so much social media, the fan base is drawn to those who are heavy hitters in social media. So Ryan Garcia was able to promote a fight with a guy whose level he's not on. Now, Ryan Garcia never fought for a world championship belt. Listen, he did fight for, I guess what you'll call an interim belt. He did fight for that. But he has never fought for a real world title. Now, Tank, on the other hand, have. Now, this is the thing. This is what somebody told me in the chat. Really, I'm going to tell you. The title to my video was answer to those platforms that said the person who wins this fight is the next face of the sport of boxing. So since Gervonta Davis won, I said it's ironic. Gervonta Tank Davis is the new face of the sport of boxing. Now, I'm going to tell you myself, I know that Canelo Alvarez is still considered, probably you'll say, the face of the sport. But the passing of the torch is coming. That title was only a reaction to those platforms that said whoever wins this fight is the new face. And this is the time that's coming. The time is coming for the next face of boxing. Gervonta Tank Davis is the man. I'm telling you. So, but what somebody said to me, and I'm going to tell you, this guy, I ain't taking that from the guy. You know, we went back and forth a little bit. But, hey, it's all in good fun, man. We all just fans of the sport. And I can tell a person that's a fan of the sport and a person that's just somebody trolling because of the information. It seems like this young man is a fan. You know what I'm saying? He's a boxing fan. So we went back and forth, though, and what his stance was that Gervonta Tank Davis don't have a major belt because he does hold that WBA regular title for the 135-pound division. Listen. And the young man was saying that how could he be the face of boxing and he don't even have a major title? I mean, because his name is bigger than the title. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing about boxing. It's so fragile that a person can become bigger than the sport and or carry the sport on their shoulder. Just like Floyd Mayweather, man. Just like Manny Pacquiao. You know, just like right now, Canelo Alvarez. You know, these names have been larger than the sport, and they were able to carry the sport on their backs. Floyd Mayweather won the 154-pound, I think it was what, the WBC and the WBA when he beat Canelo Alvarez. And he said after he beat him and took those belts, I know they fought at a catch weight, but when you fight at a catch weight and the weight is under whatever that belt is for, then you can still fight for the belts to be on the line. So the catch weight I think was at 152, and they were fighting for Canelo Alvarez WBA and WBC 154-pound belts. So when Floyd took the man belts, he said, I think it was at the end of one of those press conferences, he said that Canelo Alvarez will be the new face of the sport of boxing. So now he was taking the guy's belt and admitting that he was going to be the next face. So now this is the thing. What he was saying is, like, really, he didn't need the belts. Floyd didn't need the belts. He was coming to the end of his career. He's about to retire. He had a few more fights after that, made a lot more money. You know, he had some fights after that. But he knew his run was coming to a close and there was going to be a new face of the sport. And it was almost like a passing of the torch before it was the time. But at the same time, he was letting you know what was about to happen. That's what's happening at this moment. And it's without being said that Canelo Alvarez, you know, his time is coming to the close. It's without being said that the torch is now being passed on to Gervonta Tank Davis. It don't matter about belts. If it matter about belts, man, I mean, you know, you got Jermell Charlo. People won't even put him in a pound-for-pound list. This man been undisputed, you know, for a little while and defending it. So, I mean, if it's about belts, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got some people that's accomplished some things in the sport, but they have to have those belts. Their name have to be attached to belts for people to know them. Now, a person who's considered the face of the sport, you could go in any bar or any place and say that name and it will be attached to the sport. And that's whether they have a belt or not, you know? Like Floyd Mayweather don't even fight in the sport anymore. Not professionally, not, you know, he fights exhibitions. But when you hear his name is always synonymous with the sport of boxing. When you hear the name Mike Tyson, he's not reigning. He don't hold any belts currently. But Mike Tyson, when you hear his name speaks volumes for the sport of boxing. That's because he at one time was the face of boxing. At one time, the sport was held on his shoulders, you know? And, you know, that's why Gervonta Tank Davis can be the next face of the sport of boxing without holding a major title. Because he has become so popular. His name is synonymous with the sport, but not only that, he's risen to a level where he don't need the belts to negotiate, you know, a fight that's making upwards of 1 million pay-per-view buys, and a live gate that's breaking records, and he don't have a major title. So that right there in itself lets you know that this young man is on his way. And, I'm real proud of the young man. And I'm glad. I mean, if you can't see that this is what this young man has been groomed for, hey, man, you I don't know where you been, what boxing you been watching. Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, Showtime Sports have been grooming this young man to what he has become, and they are continuing to groom him to be that. Just because he broke away from Mayweather promotion, make no mistake about it, this young man is still being groomed. Mayweather is still behind the scenes. Hey, Al Heyman is still behind the scenes. Showtime Sports, Espinosa, they still behind this young man and grooming him to be the next face of the sport of boxing. And that's what he is becoming. I mean, and some even say right now. And I can't argue with nobody that say he the face of the sport now. With these pay-per-view numbers and this live gate, But, what's next for the young man? And this is the thing that's very important because, what's the next step? I heard Calvin Ford even say, man, we can't go backwards. We got to go forward. And, there's a lot of names at 135 pounds. That people want to see him fight. And he's named a few of them that, that's on his list to fight. He did name Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko, and he didn't say Shakur Stevenson's name, but in the interview, there was a young man interviewing him that said Steven Shakur's name, and he nodded his head. Oh, yeah. So, he wants to fight these guys. Now, this is the thing about the politics and the corruption in the sport. Devin Haney is the 135-pound undisputed champion. So he holds all 4 of the belts, all the major belts. Gervonta Tank Davis, like we said earlier, holds the regular belt, the WBA. So he has the right to contend for that super belt, which Devin Haney holds. Now, Devin Haney got Lomachenko problems. So, it's not set in stone. Everybody acting like Devin Haney just go walk in there and win, which, hey, I understand and I know he's favored to win and it's his fight to win. But, until that happens, we can't just say that, oh, well, after he beat Lomachenko, then he need to fight Tank. It don't work like that. We got to see what's going to happen on May the 20th. And also, something he said as well, he said, depending on how I feel on May 20th, that will determine whether I stay at 135 or go ahead and move up. Remember, he has been at 35 for a long time. So, really, it's about time for him to move up. And he's looking drained. Every time he makes the weight, he's looking like he has, he's a professional and he has made the weight. But what I'm saying is he's looking like he's doing everything in his power in order to do it. So I don't know how he's going to keep on making this weight to fight all of these superstars here that's there to fight. But that is an ideal fight, and people do want to see Devin Haney and Tank Davis get it on. But I'm going to tell you the truth. It's depending on what happened on May 20th. And like Devin Haney says, depending on how he feels May 20th. Because he could make that weight and it be all he can do to make it. It could affect his fighting that night. And it could affect him, period, moving forward. To the point where he realizes that, hey, he has to move up. So now this is the thing about when you call people weight bullies and all of this. If he moves up, you can't have it both ways. You can't call the man a weight bully and then when he move up say, oh, well, he ducking Tank and he ducking Steven Shakur and all of that. No. The young man got the belts. fought. He beat the guy who had the belts. The guy wanted a rematch. He fought the guy again. Now he's fighting Lomachenko, the guy who he's been wanting to fight. He wanted to fight him for the belts originally, but he didn't get an opportunity to. So now he's giving Lomachenko a shot. So, I mean, if he wins and one of moves up, I personally would not have any problem with that. You know? And then if him and Tank want to fight down the line, catch weight or whatever, then, you know, hey, they'll have to do that. But the thing to remember about the politics of the sport, I don't know what Devin Haney's next move is. I believe this fight will end his contract with Bob Arum and Top Rank. So moving forward, yeah, he could go with PBC or whatever he decides to do. And that way it would be easy for him to make a fight with Tank Davis. But, you know, it is what it is. Shakur Stevenson, you might have that same problem. The only thing, Shakur Stevenson is in the thick of his contract with Top Rank. So, I mean, I don't think his contract is up anytime in the foreseeable future. And, you know, to make a fight that would be putting things that are on the line, I think that Shakur Stevenson needs to get his star power up. Because this is the thing. Everybody talk about this cross the street stuff, and some people act like, oh, that ain't no such thing. Okay, well, ask Bob Arum, you know. Ask Al Heyman. The thing about crossing aisles and fighting these big fights, it have to make financial sense. Just like, okay, yeah, Terrence Crawford can fight what the guy named Diaz. He could fight a Diaz from PBC or whatever. But making a fight with Errol Spence is a different magnitude. So now you talking different numbers. You talking different things that's on the line. You know, you talking championship, unification, undisputed, whatever. So that's a different magnitude of fight. You know, like, you know, this fight between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia made financial sense from both parties involved. Now, Tank Davis was basically the A side because of the numbers he was already doing, you know. But Ryan Garcia had a big enough following that it really did make financial sense. So we could, as fans, yeah, we want to see these fights, and I'm one that want to see them. But I am a realist, and I know about the politics of boxing, and I know that these type of fights are not gonna happen until the names of these guys become bigger in the sport. You know, I know to some people that don't make sense, and to some people you go say, oh, you stupid, whatever. But that's how boxing works. If you stick around as a fan long enough, you go see how the sport of boxing works. Certain fights are not going to take place until there is a financial head nod to say, okay, yeah, we can make this happen for this, and this makes financial sense for this. Boxing is becoming something totally different, and you seeing now more and more pay-per-views. You would only see pay-per-views for very high magnitude fights, but now you got fights that are not as, you know, that are selling at low numbers, but it's still a pay-per-view because the networks are having trouble putting up the money because it don't make financial sense. They don't know if they're going to get paid all of their money back for putting up money for a pay-per-view that's not going to really be a high-selling pay-per-view. So you have to make sure that both parties involved have a name big enough where people are willing to put up their money and know that they're going to get it back. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you are an investor and you want to invest in something, you want to know that you're going to get a return on your investment. I mean, it's simple math, but at the same time, yeah, that's what the politics are all about, you know. So I'm a realist in boxing, and I want to see these fights just like every other fight fan want to see them. But I still am a realist and understand what the sport of boxing is. You know, I understand the politics a little bit. I ain't saying I know everything, but I understand enough to know that, yeah, there's politics, there's corruption, and also there are the fighters who have an opportunity to make money in the sport, and they gonna make as much as they can. I'm pro boxer. I don't care that, you know, if PBC and Top Rank doing business together or not. I want to see the boxers fight. So I don't care. I hope they get the stuff together. But I'm pro boxer because they the ones who get in the ring and get hit in the face and risk their lives. They get hit wrong, man. Y'all know. Jerry McClellan. Y'all look up Jerry McClellan. And then y'all look up what's the guy that just not too in the recent time, kind of, you know, Superman. What his name? Stevenson? At 175, Gervonta knocked him out, and he was in a coma for a while. Man, these guys get in the ring. They don't know if they're going to come out the same. They don't know if they're going to die in the ring or not. So, yeah, they the ones getting hit in the face, getting punched in the head. So, you know, hey, I don't have a problem with them making their money. But, you know, I'm a realist at the same time. So, I like to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight Devin Haney. I like to see him fight Shakur Stevenson, Vasyl Lomachenko, Frank Martin. I even heard Calvin Ford talking about Isaac Cruz, you know, to get a definitive, because, you know, you got a lot of fans that was complaining about, you know, that decision and how Isaac Cruz did deserve a rematch. Well, hey, I won't be mad if Tank fight Isaac Cruz even next. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why I feel like Tank will beat him. Tank is a lot smarter. He has more in his bag. And Tank, I mean, you know, yeah, he hurt his hand the first time. So he was fighting limited towards the end. So, but whatever. The reason why I don't have a problem with Tank is because Tank has fought 2 times. It's not even midways the year yet. In fact, Tank has fought 2 times. He fought in January. Y'all know he fought Garcia in January. The first Garcia, Hector Garcia. Then now he just fought Ryan Garcia on the 22nd of April. So it's not even halfway the year over, and he's already fought twice. You know what I'm saying? So that means, you know, he's really on target to fighting 4 times this year. He could fight 4 times this year, easy. So I wouldn't be mad at him if he took a fight like a Isaac Cruz, because he just came off a fight that everybody was wanting to see. So now, you know, back in the day, these fighters used to fight more times per year. The average fighter now, especially after COVID, these guys fighting 1 time a year. If a fighter fight 2 times a year now, man, that's a lot. Lately, that's been the average, honestly. Even before COVID, you were seeing guys, especially the top guys, was fighting like twice a year. And people were satisfied with it. So if Tank Davis is on target to fight 4 times this year, why not let him fight an Isaac Cruz? You know? Yeah, by the end of the year, you want to see him fight somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if he want to fight an Isaac Cruz to settle this little beef, you know, so be it. I'm all right with it, you know. I'm all right with it. But, you know, you have a lot of fans that, oh, I want to see it. Okay, well, that's you, you know. Like I said, I like to see him fight Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. But at the same time, Those fights are not fights. I'm just being honest with you. That's going to happen anytime soon. This year, you could almost hang it up that he gonna fight either one of them guys. Now, Devin Haney, like I say, he got Vasyl Lomachenko problems. Whoever win out of Devin Haney and Lomachenko that stays at 35, then that'll be a good fight. But if Devin Haney win, man, I'm not mad at Devin Haney for moving to 140. And if Lomachenko win, then hey, I think Lomachenko, if he don't retire after getting undisputed, it would be a good fight for him to fight Tank, you know. And I would be one that would like to see that fight as well. But like I said, man, Isak Cruz, that's fine with me. Tank is on target to fight 4 times, even if he only fight 3 times. One of these other bigger fights could be for next year. I ain't greedy. He done already fought twice this year. He had one of the biggest fights of the year so far. You know, if we don't get Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence in the ring, this will probably be the biggest fight of the year that just happened. Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. If Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence don't get their little thing together and move forward with this thing, then that fight gonna be the biggest fight of the year anyway. So why not let the man fight another fight this year and prepare to fight another big fight next year, you know? So I don't know. This Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. Slap that like button for me if you will. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time it goes down. We are doing another segment of this particular channel called Get This Shmoney. Next month, we gonna do it for the Vasyl Lomachenko Devin Haney fight. So subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, man, because you have to be a subscriber to win $100. Listen, you got to be a subscriber to win. You have to pick who's gonna win the fight. So go ahead and subscribe and stay tuned, man, for more instructions. This Daddy P signing off.